Namathu Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zim, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening, everyone. So today is the Monday, the 31st of May 2021, and this is Ajahn Sujan from Vadapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. So today I am here just to let you all know that from tomorrow there won't be talks for a couple of days, at least until a Friday. At least until the Friday. I am going away in the mountains for a couple of days. As a part of the practice and as a part of a holiday for the heart. Previously, so far, I have been concentrating on the theme of the Buddha's qualities, which are 9 qualities famously recorded and all the Buddhists would recollect and chant. The reason behind the chanting and the reason behind we recollect the Buddha, that he was a great man, that a person who would like to have in their lives, the Buddha had it as a prince. He was fully supported. He was living a luxurious life that everybody could think of, or everybody in this world that we are normally striving to gain the material gains, as many as possible. And also thinking of living a life like a prince or a princess. And that's our ultimate goal. Whereas the Buddha, he had it, and yet he left the palace. He left everything behind. From very protected community, protected family, he went into the wilderness, in the jungle, in the forest, which he had to face with so many difficulties, which he didn't know at all. As we know, in the forest, you would expect different animals, and not just the different animals, not like ticks in Scotland. A tick bite can be a very dangerous. I am bitten twice, this tick bite, and really tiring and really bad, and still hurts. And also you have to take a medicine for that. And think about 2,600 years ago in Nepal, in India, the massive jungles, the forests full of very different types and man-eater tigers and leopards were there. So he was jumping into that wilderness from the very protected life. And yet he was happy to be in that situation. And simply that is because he had a great agenda to attain the enlightened one. And then a thought of a helping people, the sentient beings throughout the time, throughout the world. So with that, he spent 6 years practicing and then attain the enlightenment. And he is also known as, in a short form, purity. He had purified all whatever needs to be purified. He had purified over this aeons of our lifetimes until his attainment of a nibbana, or the enlightenment. And second is his compassion, kindness and compassion, called Maha Karuna Tikuna, had shown to the sentient beings. He didn't expect anything in return. He was only thinking that wish we learn the teachings, the path, and then free ourselves from this life of a birth and a death, or a life that is always haunted by these wild animals like the maras, the tanha, the kilesas. There was one incident comes that there was a tortoise, and there was a dog, stray dog. Stray dog was trying to eat tortoise. Every time this this dog goes and try to eat the tortoise just pull all its legs and his head and his toes. That's how he was protected. Right? That's how the tortoise was protected from this stray dog. Hello, Emma. Hello, Margaret. Good evening. And with that, it is interesting to understand here that Buddha's compassion towards the world, that we are always haunted by such stray dogs like kilesas, the greed, the hatred, and the delusion, unable to be freed ourselves from those greed, hatred, and delusion, which always there to eat, always there to cause a trouble, like the maras are there all the time. And the Buddha was simply teaching us how to be protected, like the tortoise was protecting from its seal. And Buddha's teachings is to be free from the samsara. That's why the teachings is that Chakuna samvarosad, restrain your eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue, and your body and your mind. It's like the 6 senses. The tortoise has got the 6 things: 2 front legs and 2 back legs, and 4, and the head and the toe and and a tail. So altogether 6. So every time when this stray dog attacks, it simply pulls everything inside the cell and protects itself. Similar way, following the teachings of the Buddha is to protect ourselves from this samsaric, this greed, hatred, and delusion by restraining, by protecting ourselves. And so that's why he was not expecting anything in return, but with love and kindness, he was simply teaching us to be protected from the stray dogs or the maras or the greed and the hatred. So that's why he is the great man, one of the compassionate men, and one of the great knowledgeable one among the knowledgeable one, because he had known what should be known in the world. And as we know that there are some similes, he mentioned that he took the fingernail the soil from the earth and then spoke with the monks. What do you think between the soils in this fingertip and the earth? Where do you think are the greater soils? And the venerable monk said, "Oh, obviously on this earth." So he said, "Similarly, the knowledge that I know is like the knowledge of this earth, the earth. But the knowledge that I have told you all is like tips of this fingernail." Another simile was the handful of leaf. So he was in one of the jungles and forest. It's called the Simsapa jungle. With the venerable monks, he took some leaves on his hand and asked to the monks, "What do you think between the leaves in my hand and on this forest? Where do you think are the more?" After hearing the answer that in the forest are more than in his hand, he said that so be. The teachings that he had been teaching is like the handful of knowledge, but the knowledge that he had understood far more similar to the leaves in this jungle. So that's why he was one who knows. And even there is a saying before he became the Buddha, he was studying 18 different sciences. 18 different sciences. Basically, he had like a doctorate degree in 18 subjects. And that's why someone even suggested that he is the professor of finding the solution to come out from this suffering, to come out from this misery. And that's what we were discussing about these qualities of the Buddha, which are 9 qualities. And these qualities, Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarathi Sattha Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati. And that is the qualities. And he always referred himself among one of these names or these qualities. The most famous one, however, is not in that list. The most famous one he normally referred to himself is called Tathagata, and which refers to himself by himself, which means Tathagata. Tat asgata means as thus comes. As thus come. Or tathagata, thus have gone. Thus have gone. So that's why as thus comes, that basically means he had overcome all the troubles and attained the complete liberation and attainment of the Nibbana. And once again, I just would like to inform you that when these 9 qualities are also part of the practice called samatha meditation, and one can recite this itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vichacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro parisadhammasarati satta deva manusana koddo bhagavati, like that, reciting until your mind calms down. Or similarly, there are some monks or some tradition reciting from other way around, from the end to the top. It's like a tiwa kapakato tiwa kapato ta puto ka su no pan sam pa na ra cha, so on. Or you can use among these one of the names and reciting it again and again. And you may have heard or you may are familiar with. There's one very famous practice is called the Buddha. So you're reciting the name Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. As you breathe in, you're reciting Bud. As you breathe out, reciting To. So Buddha, Buddha, like that. And that's also part of the practice of a samatha meditation. And with this, you're getting the calmness of the mind. With this, you are getting the serenity of your mind. And by so, you are gaining the samadhi, the concentration. And with this samadhi and concentration, you are able to contemplate furthermore towards the insight. So as a result of that, as you gain the samadhi after the recitation of the Buddha, 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 normal practice would be recollecting the life of yourself, the body, contemplating in this body parts, hair of the head, like that. So kesa, loma, naka, danta, tacho, danta, naka, loma, kesa, like that. So the hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, the flesh, this skin, and so on. You're contemplating in the body parts. And as you're contemplating in the body parts and gradually developing this loathsomeness, the anicca, the impermanence of it, and that's how you are entering towards the reflection of the nama and the rupa, the mind and the body parts in your own body. And that's how you're entering towards the vipassana practice or insight meditation, so that you will gain a furthermore understanding and enlightenment will follows. So these are the qualities of the Buddha that help us to free ourselves from these troubles. Each one of these 9 qualities, you can use it as a way to gain the concentration and a way to gain the samadhi. By recollecting, so that's why this comes under the so-called the group of recollection practice of the samatha meditation. So among the recollectioners, 10 recollection practices. Some people argue that this is not from the Buddha. Actually, it is available in the suttas as well. Buddha did mention about the recollection of 10 recollection practices in order to gain the samadhi. So this needs to be understood too. So that's why it is quite essential that we understand the meaning of whole the Buddha's quality, the 9 qualities, so that we can bring that knowledge and understanding to ourselves and awakening ourselves towards that realization. And that realization, basically bringing the Buddha nature in us. We are awakening the Buddha nature within ourselves. Because ultimately, we are practicing to be the Buddha. Similar way, there are other practices also related to this recollection of the Buddhas, like the Samma Arahang. Yeah, Samma Arahang. As you recite the word Samma Arahang, you are remembering the qualities of the Buddha, remembering the greatness of the Buddha, the purity, the compassion, and the knowledge of the Buddha in you. And meanwhile, you're imagining the crystal bowl, and along with the breath, you are concentrating this crystal bowl, imagining the crystal bowl, tip of your nose, and reciting the word Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang. So Samma basically means the right, and Arahang means the one who has liberated, has eradicated all the defilements. So that's also one of the another practice that we can develop in us for the liberation, for the path that lead us to be free, gaining the samadhi, and then further on developing towards the insight and freeing ourselves. So that's why these whole 9 qualities are the part of the recollection part, which helps us to feel this greatness of the Buddha, that how much he had given up. In life, in general, we are striving to accumulation of all those material gains, whereas he had left it all, become a homeless, nothingness, and given us this great virtue, great knowledge for us to follow, so that we also can be free ourselves from this wilderness of samsara. How kind he was, without expecting anything in return. All what he had a thought in his mind was to be freed, to let us be free from all these troubles and things. That's why it's a right to understand, and it's a very important or essential for the remembering the Buddha in you, and you are the part of the Buddha nature. So with this, I end here for tonight's talk, and also would like to announce once more that for this, from tomorrow until the Friday night, there will be no talks at all. I am away, and then you are welcome to listen to the talk on a Sunday onwards once more. With this, may you all be well and happy. Stay safe, take care until my return, and may you all be happy. In a few moments' time, we're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and see you shortly. Sadhu. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Margaret, Falada, Kalpana, Emma, Paul, Rompo, Pet, and everyone. So, thank you.